What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Vinny's Corner. Thank you to folks for joining us. I'm here with my co-host, Kale, Sixth Street Studio man himself. And tonight, obviously, we are talking about the hottest sport going right now, Major League Baseball. We're approaching the All-Star break this weekend, so we will touch on the Home Run Derby. We'll talk a little bit about the lineups, what's going on, share our power rankings, the MVP race for the NL and the AL, probably the Cy Youngs, and whatever else comes up in the interim. Feel free to shoot us any comments with anything you want us to talk about, and we will get it going. And, of course, as always, guys, thank you for joining us here on Vinny's Corner. It'd be nice if it showed up live. There it is. I was looking for it on my X so I could share it with folks, and I think I just found it. Kale, what's going on, brother?
Not much. But I'm going to share one thing because this is crazy. I don't know if you saw this, but I'm going to share it. You got to add it to the screen, though.
Okay, let me see. How do I do that? I'm kind of can you share?
Yeah. Add it to the screen.
Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Okay. Give me 1 second because that popped off on me. Did you see this shit last night?
Oh, this is everybody. So if you are not a Phillies fan, this is the Phillies and the Giants inside the park. This was amazing, actually.
Like, I couldn't believe this shit. Let's go forward a little bit. It's the whole thing, right? But see if I can get up to. Oh, it's gonna stall for a second. Oh wait.
So, for those folks that don't know,
that was wild. That fucking shot.
The San Francisco Giants were behind, and this results in a walk-off inside the park 3-run homer to win the game. It was pretty outrageous.
There you go. Here it is. Look at this shot right off that corner, man. Like, oh my God, like wild. Like they're running for it. There's the 1 run.
I know there were a lot of Mets fans out there that were loving this. This is amazing, actually.
Like, what? Did you know that was the first time in 99 years of a walk-off home run by a catcher in Major League Baseball history?
That's wild. And it's inside the park. Like, and the placement on that ball, like,
that's ever happened.
It was pretty amazing. Yeah. It was pretty amazing stuff.
The second one that's ever happened at Oracle Park. For a walk-off.
So the ML this week in Major League Baseball it's been kind of fun. There have been some really good games. I mean, I'm a Yankees fan. They're doing their thing again tonight against Seattle, looking pretty good at the moment, but we don't know what's going to happen now that we're in the bullpen. But that was a fantastic win because I believe the Phillies have 53 wins. They were tied for first. And they were about to take control of first with that win. And then the Giants came out of nowhere with that walk-off inside the park 3-run homer. That was absolutely mind-blowing yesterday. That was awesome. That's why you watch baseball.
Yeah, shit like that happening.
Absolutely. So, folks, this weekend, obviously, as you guys are well aware, I'm sure, it's All-Star Break weekend. That's taking place in Atlanta. If you live down in Atlanta, God bless you, because WWE's got like 5 events going on down there this weekend. You also got the whole All-Star weekend. You guys are not going to be able to drive anywhere. It's going to be so hectic. But should be a good time. No question about that. So I wanted to just kind of run down real quick, get some feedback from Cove here and what you think about the starting lineups for both sides, the American League and, of course, the National League. So the American League, starting at catcher, and I love this. I'm just going to say it out loud first. Cal Raleigh is starting at catcher, right? Yeah. At first, we got Guerrero Jr. So as a Yankees fan, I just want to touch on this because we know how wild this really is, and it's incredible to see.
The Tigers.
Gleyber Torres at second base. Guy's just been having a phenomenal season. Like I was actually a Glaber fan when he was a Yankee. So I'm happy for the guy to see this, but he's batting over 280. You know, I mean, he's had a pretty stellar season so far. So it's awesome to see. At shortstop, you got Jacob Wilson from the A's. Now at third base, you got Jose Ramirez. You can't say anything wrong about that guy. He's awesome, right? Then in the outfield, of course, the outfield starts off with my guy, Aaron Judge, obviously, right?
Yeah.
MVP leading candidate. Guy's like a minus 2,000 MVP leader right now. Then you got Javi Baez, another Detroit Tiger.
With Riley Green.
Yep, in center field. And then in left field, you got Riley Green. So pretty awesome. It's really cool to see the Detroit Tigers so heavily represented because obviously, you know, they're having
we got Ryan O'Hearn on DH.
Oh, and my fault, Baltimore fans. I wasn't trying to throw shade at an American League East team. Yet we do got O'Hearn, right? That's a good one too. Ryan O'Hearn's playing DH. And then there's obviously a lot of different pitchers, so I'm not going to give the full rundown on pitchers.
Well, I have the reserves in front of me. So you got Alejandro Kirk, infielders like Alex Bergman, Bobby Witt Jr., plus outfielders such as Byron Buxton, Jesper Kwan, pitching staffs like Hunter Brown, Jacob deGrom, Max Fried, and Chris Saleh. What about Chris Saleh there? I don't know why.
Who do you think is going to be starting? Fried?
I think it'd be Fried. I think Fried will start it.
Makes the most sense, right? That's kind of what I was assuming. Let me ask you a question because I didn't know this rule. It came up when I was listening to another show a few days ago. But like on the full roster on each side, they have to get somebody from every team on the rosters.
Yep.
Probably the worst rule in all of sports. Okay, let's just talk about it. Do you really feel like
the worst rule because it's an all-inclusive of fans from every game, every team. So you have to have representatives every team.
And listen, I understand the logic to it, but right? Okay, so I guess here's my question. Who do you feel from the Colorado Rockies actually deserves to be an all-star? Let's talk about it.
From the Rockies, Ryan McMahon, probably of all people. Ryan McMahon's been one of the best players I've had for the last few years. So but that's the thing. That's the way I'm crediting it. These guys all make the major leagues, whether in the worst team in the league or not. They are still all-stars. They still go out there every day, win or lose.
Okay, listen, I understand it. I get it. It's just, to me, I'm like, I don't know that I fully agree with that, but, okay, so now on the National League side of things, we've got Will Smith. So as expected, just like Detroit was very heavy in the American League, right? 3 starters. We're going to see 3 starters from the LA Dodgers. And I mean, I don't even have to say the other 2 guys. Most of the people out there can probably guess exactly who it is. No problems, right? So it's Will Smith, obviously, at catcher. At first base, you got Freddie Freeman. Guys, Freddie Freeman is inevitable at this point. So, I think that's a great choice. DH is Ohtani. No, what else could we expect, right? Second base, we got Ketel Marte. Shortstop, I like the shortstop move. Francisco Lindor, big fan. Not a big fan of the Mets, big fan of Francisco Lindor. Let's just clear the air there. Manny Machado, who's been having a killer season for the San Diego Padres. Then you got a couple of Cubs in the outfield, but we'll start off in right field. You got Ronald Acuna Jr. In center field, you got Pete Crow Armstrong. You know how they list him? It's kind of funny. I don't know if you guys can see this. They list Pete Crow Armstrong as PCA because his name's too big to put on the official thing that they put out. And then last but not least, you got Kyle Tucker in left field. What do you think about this starting group? Is there anyone you feel like should be there that's not?
There's always snubs. That's the thing. There's always snubs. But let me roll up to who I got here. On the reserves, you named all the guys with Smith, Freeman, Marte, Machado, Lindor, Cunha, Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, and Ohtani. But Hunter Goodman, there you go. That's the Rocky added. Hunter Goodman. He's got 17 home runs in Colorado. Pete Alonso, LA De La Cruz, Matt Olson, Eugenio Suarez, Corbin Carroll, Kyle Stowers, with Kershaw, Yamamoto, Paul Skeens, Zach Wheeler, Mackenzie Gore, Matthew Boyd, Edward Diaz, and Randy Rodriguez. So they have a lot of talent on that NL side.
Yo, I saw. I don't know if you saw this. I'm trying to think of exactly what it was. And you can correct me because I'm sure you're going to know better than I will. But I saw a stat out there that that Paul Skeens' WAR is higher than his wins this season. I can't even
He's got one win in 13 games, the last 13, 14 games with Pittsburgh right now. It's unreal.
So for folks that don't know, Paul Skeens, dominant pitcher out of the Pittsburgh Pirates, a player they'll likely never let go of. He's kind of the marquee player of that franchise at this point. Absolute stud, only in his second season. And the guy's only got 4 wins on the season, where for the way he's pitching, his ERA in those 4 games is like a 1.39, 1.49. It's a sub 2.
He's got a 4-7 record, 1.94 ERA, leads MLB. He's got 125 Ks, eighth in the MLB. Yeah, his WHIP is a .92, fifth best in the MLB, and his innings pitched is 116 innings pitched.
Kind of crazy, right?
But his WAR is a 3.5, 11th in the MLB.
It's just a sad thing to see. I hope they either get it together or they crack under the pressure of a team like the Yankees and make a big deal and send him somewhere that he can compete, because the guy is an absolute stud. There's no other way to say it. I mean, watching that guy pitch is an exciting thing. People go to those games just to see him pitch, knowing their team is probably going to lose.
Yeah. So he's got a 27.8% K ratio to a 6.7 base on ball ratio.
Okay. And what do you think? Who do you think is going to be the starting pitcher for these guys?
God, it'll be Shohei. Shohei's pitching, but
I was thinking about this, right? Shohei's only been pitching a couple innings at a time. I would be surprised. Maybe he doesn't start, but I would be surprised if they didn't have Shohei pitch 1 or 2 innings. I think he'll pitch an inning for the NL.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be Yamamoto or Kershaw. One of those 2 guys are going to start. Dodger's going to start.
Wait. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is an all-star?
Yeah, he's on the reserves. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of shocked by that, because if I'm being serious, and anyone who's a real baseball fan, I'm not throwing shade. The guy has kind of stunk it up a bit this season. I really I don't know.
Man. It's a fan vote. That's what happens.
And there's a lot of Dodgers fans out there. Probably had everybody in Japan put his name on the ballot. Bro, come on. I don't know.
So I don't know. I could see Kershaw being the legend pick, like him starting it. But I would think, like, if you want the fans to be excited, Paul Skeens should start.
So that leads me to another question, and you'll know more about this, but so even though it's happened in the past, the last time the legend pick was used was in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Kershaw, he's not an all-star this season, and so how does the commissioner just have the opportunity to just say, you know what, put him in, like
3,000 Ks. That's what it is. He earned it with the 3,000 Ks. If he didn't get the 3,000 Ks, he wouldn't get the legend pick.
Like I get it, but the fact that it's not a consistently used thing, to me, it's just, I don't know. I think it's a little weird, right?
I think it's just to give accolade to a guy who hits a milestone before the All-Star, and his stats might not get him in there.
Okay. I'm just looking it up here. MLB commissioner legend pick for All-Star. Okay, so let's see here. What I want to see, who is the last person that they gave that to? I believe it was 2022. I'm just trying to look it up. I don't have it offhand, but I don't know. Like, to me, this just seems like, okay, I think, let's see here. When is the last time it was used? Join retired.
Oh, okay. Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols in 2022.
Yeah, so I fully appreciate, and I mean, maybe it's just because I'm more into the hitters, and because I'm a big Pujols fan. Pujols and Cabrera being legend picks, I think is cool, but I feel like if you're going to use that, it should be a consistent thing, not like
this
the commissioner just decides when.
This is why they say it matters. It celebrates career excellence beyond the season stats. So, like, example, Pujols hitting his 700th home run. It preserves all-star traditions by including iconic legends even late in their careers.
That makes sense.
Like I said, 3,000 Ks, he's got to be celebrated. Because this is probably going to be his last season, right? So, like, last All-Star, last hurrah.
Where do you rank Clayton Kershaw all time? Is he top 20?
Top 20, yeah. Top 10, no.
He's definitely not top 10. I won't even entertain that conversation. I'm sorry. He's good, but he's not a top 10 all-time pitcher. I can name 10 pitchers quickly that are better than that. I had to just text my wife to grab me a water because I didn't want to run off the camera again. So, all right, who's your pick, AL or NL?
I feel like it's going to be NL.
I think so, too. Hi, friends. Guys, my wife says hi. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful evening. I agree with that, the NL. Now, of course, it wouldn't be an all-star weekend without the home run derby, right? So I think there's still a couple of players to be added, but thus far, for folks that don't know, Junior Caminero, O'Neill Cruz, Cal Raleigh, Ronald Acuna Jr., James Wood, and Byron Buxton are all set for the 2025 Home Run Derby. Now, you know my feeling on this. I don't know that it's an always thing, but I get nervous of the idea that somebody might hurt themselves or throw their swing mechanics off because we've seen it happen a million times in the past. Not every time.
But they've changed the All-Star Home Run Derby a little bit. It is timed, but it's only 40 pitches. So,
first question for you. Who do you think, right? There's two more people, right? Usually it's what, 8 people?
Yeah.
Right? So we've got 6 so far. If anyone else wants to chime in, who do you guys think the last 2 people are or should be for the Home Run Derby this year? What do you think?
Well, who do you think first?
I'll tell you, and I hope he doesn't, but I could really see Jazz Chisholm getting into it, and I think that he's come back and been a major contributor, and he's been nasty with the big ball. So I wouldn't be blown away if he decided to be that guy, this season for the AL. And I don't know who my last pick is, if I'm being honest. Maybe like a Bryce Harper. But Bryce has got too much experience. Guys with that much experience don't tend to do it anymore. I mean, you got Acuna Jr. out there, but I don't know. Who do you think?
I'd say I'll give you two. Riley Green.
That would be a good one.
And Seiya Suzuki.
Okay. So what was that? A Cub and a Tiger. Yeah. I think that those are good choices for sure, right? I don't see why they would be impossible ones, right? Right now, I think that, I'll be honest, I think that the home run derby is going to belong to Cal Raleigh either way. I think that he's just like, he's ready to win that. But those would be some good choices for sure. Who would be decent too out of the National League? Eugenio Suarez would be a good pick. But it's kind of tough to say, right? I think Riley Green has got 22 homers on the season, so right, he's on pace for a 40 home run season, which is definitely strong. Suarez has got a 28 already. And you know who else? You said who? Suzuki? Suzuki's got like 25 home runs on the season too. He's on pace for like a 50 home run season. So that's not bad at all. What do you think? If you had to choose right now, just based on the 6 guys we know, do you think it's going to be one of them, or do you think it's going to be one of these dark horses that comes in?
I don't think Green would. I just don't think he would. Seiya might, because it'd be an honor just to get in there. But I think Riley Green would just not do it.
It would be cool to see a Cub represented too. They're one of the more historic franchises in the sport, so it's always good to see a Chicago Cub out there doing something good. But who do you think? Okay, so right now, based on who we know, who do you think wins it? Caminero, Acuna, Raleigh?
I'll say this just to get the hate on it. Like, I'll be the Atlanta hater here. Acuna might get second round, but he ain't gonna go far. He's not gonna. He's gonna be the hometown favorite. I just don't see him going past second round. Cal Riley, yeah, I kind of see him. Now, I just did more so like just shits and giggles. I got MLB 25 to show. I already ran the original 6 in that was already named. I ran them through, and Cal Raleigh did win it all. So, under the simulation of all like GOAT legend on MLB the show, yeah, Cal Raleigh took it home.
Okay. I like that. I think, you know what? And that's another team like the Mariners. The Mariners have had some real spunk to them this season, I guess you could say. But
the surprise was he went up against O'Neal Cruz for the finals.
I don't know that I see that in the finals. I don't know. I like, to me, O'Neal's a throwaway candidate. He's out in the first round. I don't know. I could be wrong, obviously. I don't know everything. I certainly don't know everything about baseball. But that would be my thought, if I had to just.
It all depends on matchups. It's who. It really comes down to say Acuna goes up against James Woods, and Acuna gets one more home run than him, and then he goes up against O'Neal Cruz, but Acuna is just powered out, and then it's just O'Neal gets by one home run. That can happen.
You're not wrong there.
I'm not saying O'Neal is for sure to be in the finals just because MLB did it, but I mean it's just all about. I could run that 9 times, and I'd probably get 9 different finals.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? It just depends on who's playing who and how they're hitting.
Okay, that's fair. So just for folks out there, if you haven't kind of caught up on the day of baseball, the Yanks are in the lead right now going into the top of the 8th, 6-9, pretty high scoring game. The Red Sox, as expected, are putting a shellacking on the Colorado Rockies. It's 10-2 in the bottom of the 8th. The Reds are smoking the Marlins 7-1. Most importantly, the LA Dodgers finished getting swept today by the Milwaukee Brewers. We love those kind of things. Even though I'm wearing a Lakers shirt, by the way, I'm not a Lakers fan. I just got a good deal. So the games have been pretty interesting today. The Pirates and the Royals are tied up 3-3 in the 6th. The Cubs are down in the bottom of the 6th to the Twins, 2-4. I think the Astros are losing right now, too. The Astros are losing 2-0, top of the 6th to the Guardians. And the Mets and the Orioles game were postponed. So that'll be a makeup game, probably a doubleheader. The White Sox won today. You know what? They didn't just win today. They beat the Blue Jays. Thank you very much.
The 10-win streak Jays snapped by the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, that's huge. It brings us, assuming the Yankees win, which is definitely not definite. It's raining right now, and it's 6-9, and we know the Yankees bullpen isn't perfect, but it brings us one step closer back to first place. And quite frankly, I don't like seeing us in any position besides first. Kind of is what it is. All right, so let me ask you a question. What do you think? Right now, okay, right. Let's put it this way. Right, everyone's got their own power rankings. What do you think? Like, who's your? Let's do a full top 10.
I only got a top 5, but
all right, let's go top 5. You can do that.
So now this is how. Now I'm going to go with ESPN. ESPN says Dodgers, Tigers, Phillies, Astros, Cubs. That's ESPN's top 5.
In what order? They're saying Dodgers are 1?
Yeah, they're saying Dodgers 1. Like ESPN saying Dodgers 1.
Okay.
But I have it as Tigers, Dodgers, Astros, Jays, Cubs.
Okay. So I'm like right there with you. Right? Detroit is definitely my number 1. So I know everyone just wants to put the Dodgers at number 1 or 2. The Dodgers do have 56 wins, but just on the baseball that I've been watching recently, my number 2 team is the Houston Astros. I hate the Astros, or I dislike them highly, but they're just like one of those teams, right? They just put it together. It's almost like, to see how good they've kind of bounced back this season. I mean, they were far from,
They do this every year, Vin. Every year. They got a slow start and then they just pick it up every time.
Yeah, dude,
if you're going to be a betting man, if you were going to be a betting man, you'd be like Astros in the playoffs every year. It just happens.
Listen, it's hard to argue with that. Altuve's batting over 270. Let's see what we got. Pena's batting 322. He's doing awesome. He leads them. He's got 102 hits. I think like 19 or 20 homers. Myers has got a 308 batting average. Smith's got a 287. So they've got a lot of guys hitting really well right now on the team. Paredes has got a 255, but he's hitting better than his batting average says. And they're like, as much as you don't like the team or anyone doesn't like the team, right? They really are a team, like when it comes to like the playoffs, et cetera, like they're in the last decade, they are really an inevitable team. Like there's just no denying how good the Astros end up being every season.
Yeah, and I'll say this strongly. If the Astros stayed in the NL, they wouldn't be the dynasty that they are.
Okay, I can agree with that. Now, I mean, it's. I guess the American League is a little easier and has been in recent years for sure. So it's kind of a tough thing to really argue against. You know, so what do you think? What do you think's really holding them up? I mean, Valdez has got 10 wins already on the season, right? So he's already on track for a 20-win season. He's got 4 losses too, and Brown's got 9 wins on the season. So they've got a couple of pitchers that are racking up wins for them. You know, they're a tough team. To like, if they were in the National League, they'd be dealing with, a Dodgers, right?
Yeah,
so
they'd be in the West. Like, you're just, you have the Dodgers, the Padres, the Diamondbacks. Like, you just have so much. If you look at the
Giants
from like 1990 to 2010, when their era in the NL, man, they never won a division. They never did anything. Like, and they had some of the most iconic players that ever played for the Astros, and they just never did anything. You had Nolan Ryan at one point and still didn't do nothing.
Nolan Ryan. So this is like a crazy, and I think we've talked about this, right? Nolan Ryan's had in his career, he had 7 no-hitters?
Mm-hmm.
Guy never won a Cy Young.
Yeah. Never. Like, it's because statistically he had some of the worst stats outside of his strikeouts, out of his no-hitters, out of his perfect games, like anything like that, like what we consider a perfect game, like any of that. He really had a bad WAR. Like, that was the thing that killed him.
It's kind of like, it's a crazy thing because, like, when you talk about pitching, right, there are so many people who just go to that name immediately, like Nolan Ryan. I'm like, guy was awesome, right? He was tough as can be. He was the kind of guy who would pitch a complete game often. I mean, like we said, he got 7 no-hitters, but
the dude pitched until he was like, what, 54?
And, so here's the other thing I was pointing out, right? I was telling somebody this online recently because they were like, I can't believe that he never had a Cy Young. And I'm like, well, think about it like this. Think about the era of pitching and how good the pitching was when he was, a starting pitcher in the major leagues, right? It's not really to discredit him. It's just that he had such stiff competition.
So it was stiff competition. I'll give you some fun facts, just a run-off, just in a couple. In 1973, Ryan had 383 Ks, which is fucking insane, with a 2.87 ERA. But Jim Palmer won with a 22-9 record with a 2.40 ERA. In 1977, Ryan struck out 341 with a 2.77 ERA. But Sparky Lyle, a reliever, won for the Yankees. In 1981, Ryan had a 1.69 ERA, but Fernando Valenzuela won thanks to the Fernando Dominea and Bernardo. But yeah, so it was this competition. It was who he was going up against. They had a better ERA. They had a better win-loss. Like, I'll give you an example. He had great individual seasons with mediocre win-losses. Like, he had an 8-16 record in 1987 with a 2.76 ERA with 270 strikeouts. Like, that's what killed him. Like, in that sense. He was just on a horrible Astros team. From 1980 to 1988, the Astros were just horrible in the Astrodome. So that's why he couldn't. That's why he went over to the Rangers, because he just couldn't. He couldn't do anything with the Astros. So he went over to the Texas Rangers, which I find a lot more people remember him as a Texas Ranger more so than a Houston Astro.
I think it just depends on who you talk to, if I'm being honest. It kind of depends.
Well, maybe it's the era, because 89 to 93 he played in Texas. So if you were say, well, we would have been about 9 to 13 around then. So that was kind of like our teenager era, is when he was the Ranger. If you get a little older, they might think the Astros, but if you go a little bit older than that, like a 20-year-old, he was for 7 years. He played for the California Angels. Some people might even remember him as an Angel.
Dude, the guy played baseball forever, right? Like
72 to 93.
I remember I remember maybe like a game, and I don't even know how I remember it. I think it might just be from seeing the footage, because he was definitely a Ranger. When I was old enough to like remember baseball, he was definitely a Ranger. No question about it.
We were about 9 to 13 years old when he was a Ranger.
Yeah, no question about that. But I think it's maybe just because there's so much iconic footage of him out there in that throwback Astros jersey that when you think of him, it just pops up, right?
I think he threw more no-hitters with the Astros than he ever did with the Rangers. That's probably why. He probably had some of the iconic games as an Astro.
You know,
just throw a number out there. Just throw a number out there. How many strikeouts do you think Nolan Ryan has total?
That's a good question.
Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Give me a number. I have the number.
Okay, wait. He pitched how many seasons?
72 to 93. 21 years.
21 years. Wow, that's a lot.
I gave you a couple. He threw 200, 300 Ks a year on average. Like,
he's got to be between like 5,500 and 6,000.
5,714.
Come on, bro. Like, I don't know the exact number every time, but I can put it together.
Math, right?
So, question: where does that rank all time?
I think that puts him at the all-time strikeout leader. Because I don't really know anybody being in the 5,000 club. We just heard about Kershaw in the 3,000 club.
Yeah, you know what? He is the all-time leader. That's, right? So the all-time strikeout leader, and he's the all-time strikeout leader by almost 1,000 strikeouts. The next closest person is Randy Johnson
at 4,800.
Yeah, 4,875, and then Clemens at 46. But it's such a drop-off in the numbers, and I think that goes to his longevity, right? So
the exact number is 839 strikeouts, more than Randy Johnson.
Which is wild, because Randy Johnson is absolutely legendary on the mound.
Oh, there's
right?
one team. New York Mets had Nolan Ryan at 1.2. That'd be a rare to find that one.
That'd be a good jersey. All right, so kind of moving along, guys. I just want to put this out there, by the way, guys. I'm a Yankees fan, and I recently put out that the Yankees were no longer in my top 10 in my power rankings. I know that was a little extreme, but if I was going to be honest right now, I would have them probably at 9th or 10th. Like, I don't put them, as you know, I'm not putting them in the top 5. It just, as a Yankees fan, it's been tough to watch. Now, obviously, we've got 2 pitchers out, 2 of our better pitchers out, which is rough. And our team just, I don't know. We're very up and down. I expect us to make the playoffs. Hopefully, it'll be as the AL East winner, but it's kind of tough to say at this point. But one thing is for sure, at least in my opinion, and you might have a different idea on this, but I think it's almost, and a lot of people are talking this Cal Raleigh stuff, blah, 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 blah. No offense, Kyle. But people are saying that Cal might be the next person to win the MVP. I just don't see it. Judge is batting 360. He's got 75 ribbies. He's got 34 home runs. I could keep going into his stats, but I think it would be, he's got 121 hits. He's got 10 more than the next closest guy, and the next closest guy is not Cal Raleigh. So I don't see that happening. I think he's a firm pick for that. And
Judge still has a firm lead. Yes, he Judge still, with all the stats across the board, he still has a firm lead. But Cal Riley is really on his heels.
Riley's this is like, right? So this is his fifth season. This is a massive breakout season for him. He's already hit more home runs this season in a half than he's ever hit in a full season. You know, like he's playing phenomenal baseball.
But to credit him also is he's doing something a catcher has never done.
And he's a very good catcher too.
Yeah.
On the defensive side.
When's the last time you heard a catcher being this dominant this early?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I guess we're going to see what happens. I'd be shocked to see Judge not get it. And then on the AL side of things, the heavy favorite for obvious reasons is Shohei Ohtani. I think Shohei
94% chance of winning this. Like 94. Like that's what crossed the stats. Like against betting sites, it's 94% that Shohei's going to get this. It's like, what is PGA, Pete Armstrong? Like, yeah. Does he not have a chance at all? Like, this kid is doing phenomenal things this year.
Well,
for him not.
It's kind of, I guess here's the reason why it's tough for, Crow Armstrong's having a hell of a season, but like when you look at his team, Suzuki is having an unbelievable season too. So it's not like you can just clearly look at it and be like, that's the MVP of their team. No question. Right. Suzuki's got like 78 RBIs this season. Like the guy is on fire. So it makes it a little tougher. But when you look at a guy like Ohtani, especially now that he's back on the mound, it's barring anything crazy happening or anything, like if he just continues the pace he's at now and ramping up his pitching and what he's doing as a hitter, there's just no way, you know what I mean, that Shohei loses it. Like Judge is having a better season offensively, but Shohei is more of a lock.
I think it's just more a lock because he's just a face. Like, I don't think people want to see him not win it. It's
kind of, and I don't know how you feel about this, but growing up, like obviously I'm an American kid. I grew up watching baseball. It's a little like I haven't gotten used to the fact yet that the face of baseball is from Japan and not America.
But I'm gonna throw some stats at you. Like this is insane. Like I'm just throwing up. I look at so Pete Armstrong is 90 games played to 92 to Shohei. A 269 batting average to his 264 on Shohei. 23 home runs to 31. 67 RBIs to 71. 64 runs, and it doesn't show me the stat for Shohei's 64, but he's leading the runs scored. 850 on base percentage with a +1 WRC of a -135. Shohei's got an 872 with a -139. Stolen bases though. Pete Armstrong has 27, while Shohei's only got 10. So, like, when you look at these stats, these guys are just teetering to each other. Like, he's just got a few more home runs, he got a few more RBIs. But if Shohei slows down and Pete Armstrong propels more, I mean, we're not saying that we cannot see them going toe-to-toe to the end of the season.
And, I just wanted to throw out a little correction. Shohei only has 58 RBIs this season.
I said I didn't know what he had, though.
Yeah, it's a little surprising that he's, the leaders in Judge has almost 20 more RBIs than him. It's a little surprising actually. I would expect his number to be higher.
It said he was leading. I didn't say. But if Pete Crow had 64, he would be leading over Shohei with 58.
It's a very tight race, and you and I have talked about it. And I threw it out there like a long time ago, and then when it recently came up when we were on the Sports Podium show last week, you brought Pete Crow Armstrong up yourself, and like it's almost unfair, right? Because now that Shohei's pitching again, even though he hasn't pitched like a 6-7 inning game. It's one of those things where, like, unless Crow Armstrong takes like a giant lead on him, he almost knows he's going to lose the MVP because they're going to give it to Shohei.
Yeah,
it's kind of it's a tough place to be. Right now, being in baseball right now. And like when you look at it and you're like, damn, the way Aaron Judge plays his regular seasons, the way Shohei does, like pretty much the MVP is sewed up by like the third week of baseball. Like everyone already knows what's going on. And we got a 7-month season, 6-month season. So it's kind of crazy. These things do happen though.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's kind of it on the baseball side of things. We still got a little bit of time. The things I did want to touch on for folks, as a lot of you guys know, I'm a big time boxing fan. I love combat sports in general, but boxing is my bread and butter. And I wanted to highlight something because this Friday is a huge event for boxing in general. It's an all-female card with 6 different title fights, a total of 17 belts on the line in those fights, being headlined by the Trilogy fight for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Just a huge boxing event. And it's free to everybody on Netflix. Friday evening, I may be live during it on X. I may do reactions post, but you're definitely going to hear from me on those fights. If you're a fan of sport, I show the ladies some love. It's a free event. Pretty much everyone out there has Netflix. Definitely tune into it. It's going to be some great stuff. It's must-watch TV, in my opinion. So I did want to throw that out. And then, of course, on Saturday, the Ring Magazine has been hosting their own fight cards now, and there are going to be a few fights. There will be multiple title fights. It's actually being held in New York, in Queens, New York, at Arthur Ashe Stadium. New York's own Edgar Berlanga is fighting against Hamza Shiraz at super middleweight. That'll be a good one. But the fight that I think most folks want to tune into, big time, probably one of the pound-for-pound fighters in the world, lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson. He's the super champion for the WBC belt, and William Zepeda for Golden Boy is the regular champion or the interim champion. And so they're going to be battling for supremacy and that official like WBC rank. But these are two of the better fighters at lightweight. It's going to be a heck of a card. There's a lot of good fighters, a lot of good names on it. So definitely check that out Saturday. I'm probably going to have fight reactions Saturday and Friday. And guys, there's a lot of WWE stuff too going on. What's it called? Saturday night. Goldberg returns this weekend, which is crazy. So definitely check that out. And that's live on Peacock. So if you have Peacock, it's free. And they also have Evolution, which is another all-female headlined event. So this is a big weekend for sports, some prolific wrestling and boxing stuff going on. And then, of course, it's All-Star Weekend. You can't miss out on All-Star Weekend. So a few things to check out. I will definitely be going live for that. My man Kale here, I know he's going to have some stuff going on later in the week as well. What's the schedule looking like for you thus far?
I'm sticking with the Thursday night show at 9 Eastern. That's kind of where I'm sticking at. Kind of like here with the 9 Eastern for me.
How long does that show run? Is it like an hour, 2 hours? Like, do you guys have a time frame?
About an hour.
Okay. If Thursday night is my crap night, but if God forbid, God willing, rather, if I can get out of there early, I'll join you guys. Are you guys doing anything for the All-Star game?
Not really. It just depends. To be honest, when is the All-Star game? Is it Monday? Or
No, it's
Tuesday?
this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
14th and 15th.
14th. Oh, is it the 14th and the 15th?
Yep.
Oh, Monday and Tuesday. Okay.
So I'm available on the All-Star night. Like I'm not working on the 15th, but the Home Run Derby I work that night, so I won't be watching the Home Run Derby.
So maybe if we can, we'll see what everyone's schedules look like, but maybe guys we'll get a live space going instead of doing a live stream, so we could get other baseball fans involved and we could all kind of talk trash about our players, our teams, and have a good time.
So just before we go, I looked at this stat because we kind of talked about Colorado being so horrible. The White Sox were 24-69 around this time when we had this problem. When we had this problem last year with the White Sox winning 41 games. But they had a 3-22 July. That's what killed them. That's what really killed them the most.
And how are the Rockies looking?
They're 21-72.
So they're right there. They're looking to break history.
They're looking to break history, but the thing is, and I don't know if you saw that stat because I threw it in the other chat. At one point, in the last, I don't know, I think it was like the last 20 games, the Colorado Rockies won more games than the Yankees.
All right, listen, guy. We're not going to be doing the Yankee hating over here, all right? The Yankees just won 2 in a row in Seattle against one of the better teams in the AL, and we did win tonight for those that care, 6-9. Game is over.
It was just funny because I just randomly ran by a stat, and it was like the Yankees are 7-14, and the Colorado Rockies are 8-13 in the last 21 games. I was like, seriously? They had to throw that fun stat up that the Yankees were having a worse 21 game slump than the struggling Colorado Rockies.
So yeah, 7-13 for the Yankees, 8-12 for the Colorado Rockies. For those that care, I'm looking at it now. I'm seeing all these awesome graphics that you had thrown up in there too. Amazing stuff. Not gonna lie. Is this all from that cantina?
No.
Oh, okay. This guy's so good with AI. He comes up with the craziest graphics. I'm just learning about it. Actually, you guys should check out that Cantina app. Maybe we can get them as a sponsor. Be a great idea.
Cantina does more of like AI, like real AI videos.
Did you? I'm going to send you the video I created yesterday. It's about the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight, and it's got Grandma Rambo weighing in on who's going to win the fight. It's awesome. It's hilarious. All right. Well, listen, guys. As always, thank you for joining us in Vinny's Corner. Look out tomorrow night for 6th Street Studio Live with Kale and the guys. I think Tommy will be with you, right?
Yeah. Tommy and Drama.
And we'll do a little vote online and see who is into the idea of maybe all-star game live space on X. If folks are into it and we get enough interest, then, I'll throw something together and we'll run that. All right. Otherwise, guys, it was a nice 3-4 weeks off. And don't worry, we're not going to do that again. Vinny's Corner is back in our weekly slot here at 6 Pacific time, 9 Eastern time. And we will see you next week here on Vinny's Corner. Thanks for joining us.